Hello everyone, good morning. Today is 27th of June and welcome to the newspaper analysis. So guys, in this video, today we are going to discuss the entire analysis of the Hindu newspaper along with the background as well as the analysis. Now guys, before starting, I would like to tell you that you can download the explainer PDF from the Telegram channel and the link has been given in the description box, and in fact, I will highly advise you that before watching this video, download the explainer PDF so that you can mark the important things alongside. Now, first of all, let's take the overview of the entire newspaper. Here we can see on the first page, first of all, the political issues etc. have been mentioned. You don't need to go into such kind of articles, not important for our examination. Then guys, here the China upgraded firepower in the LAC region. So guys, this article, it is giving some anonymous inputs that now the China, they have expanded their infrastructure. Now they can station more than 1.2 lakh troops and all such kind of informations are being given. Now this thing, everybody knows that the basically outreach activities into the LAC has been increased. However, apart from that, substance is not there in this article. Just they're talking that okay, they can station these many troops, all these kind of things. Fine. With respect to exam, much substance is not there in this article. Then guys, moving on, after that, in the city section, the regional news, political news, advertisements etc. has been given. Nothing much important is there in this section, so directly please come to the editorial section. Now in the editorial, the first article talks about rewriting the old history for a new India. So it talks about the changes that are being made in the history books. Fine. Briefly we'll see if something is important there. Then guys, here on the side article we can see that basically talks about that India needs to put pressure for the extradition of Sajid Mir because he was involved into the Mumbai terror attacks, okay, and all such kind of things, and details of his involvement in some terrorist activities have been given. Fine. The article is not at all important for exam, please don't go in that. Regressive, inhumane. So this article talks about the US Supreme Court's recent decision with respect to the abortion rights. Fine, we'll see briefly what is provided. Then making sense of New Delhi's Taliban rapprochement. So guys, this particular article talks about that as we see the Taliban has taken over in Afghanistan, India needs to take a kind of a moral stand in this particular direction. It has been provided. Then guys, after that, moving on, bringing MSMEs into global value chain. This article is a very good article, and virtually every fact related to the MSMEs you'll find here. Very important article with respect to our exam. How Hanoi and New Delhi are fortifying the defense ties. We'll see this article. Then guys, after that, moving on, text and context, Indian law on abortions. We'll see this. Fine. Then understanding the Supreme Court verdict on Zakia Jafri protest petition. So guys, this article talks about the recent Supreme Court decision where basically it concerned with the Gujarat rights issue. Fine. Now this particular article has the political undertones. Fine, please don't read this article. With respect to UPSC, nothing is involved in this particular article, so please avoid it. Then the next is implication of India's new VPN rules, so we'll see this article. Then guys, moving on, should never forget dreadful period of emergency. Basically it is a target onto the Congress, that how the dark period of emergency was unleashed during the Congress regime. Okay, so this is all which has been provided. Then guys, moving on, okay, looking forward for the fruitful discussion. So the Prime Minister has visited the Germany for the G7 summit. Okay, for the G7 summit, and into this particular G7 summit, he had basically asked the diaspora that play basically fruitful discussions, engagements are important. Fine. Then moving on, after that, on to the page number 13, we can see that inaction does not imply conspiracy. This is the ruling that has been given by the Supreme Court. So guys, an important ruling, we'll see this particular thing. After that, the political news etc. has been given. Fine, not important for the exam. Should India worry about the endemicity of the COVID-19? So guys, a few days back, I have taken the entire discussion on endemic, pandemic, epidemics and all these kind of things. Now it has been said that India might be reaching a phase where the COVID-19 will become endemic. Endemic means that it will permanently be there. There will be certain times when the cases will spike, then it will go down. So as malaria and dengue, they are endemic to India. Okay, they are there. Okay, so in that way, the COVID will become endemic. Fine. However, basically still it is too soon to see to say what is going to happen. Fine, so these all things are going to change very soon. Fine. Then Himachal to buy back single use plastics, a very good case study. Odisha to install the siren to caution elephant movement into the forest. So guys, we see that often basically there are the man animal conflicts. Many a times the elephants, they come onto the railway tracks, okay, where there are the accidents. Sometimes all such other kind of issues are there. So for the elephant movement, they are installing the siren, fine, but beyond this heading, nothing is important. Then Russia strikes Kiev as the G7 summit opens. So Russia Ukraine crisis has been mentioned, fine. Then after that, moving on, G7 proposes $600 billion global infrastructure project. We'll see this, what it has been provided. Then after that, moving on, fuel prices squeezes Sri Lanka. Nothing is important. The second day of protest in USA, nothing is important. Money wise, so today, as it is Monday, on Monday there is no business page that comes. So Monday we have the money wise page, fine, which contains the investing and all these kind of things. Then the sports page is there. So guys, this is all the overview of the entire newspaper, and now let's move on in the detailed analysis of all these articles one by one. Okay. Okay, so I see here two comments, sir. One request, do share the Hindu PDF so that we can skim through the paper. So guys, this is a request that I often receive, that please share the Hindu PDF also. But in this particular regard, there is a particular kind of a strong opinion that I have. So basically, sharing the Hindu PDF on the Telegram channel, which is actually a free platform, it will be a copyright violation. And secondly, my work ethics don't allow me to do that particular thing, because at the end of the day, I feel that if you are consuming information from a source which actually invest, I think that we should pay for that particular thing. So I strongly support the paid media, paying the media for the work that they are doing. I strongly support that we should contribute monetarily to the investigative journalism. So please contribute into the good journalism. I will ask you to please buy the PDF. It will not cost, it will be not more than 150 rupees if you buy the e-paper. Okay, so very affordable, fine. That is my request, please consider that thing, fine. Sir, isn't endemic means exclusive to that particular region? Yes, fine, it means that the cases will come, okay, erratically. Okay, sir, 26 June का editorial नहीं. Dear, the newspaper analysis is taken from Monday to Saturday. Fine, Sundays it is not there. Now let's discuss the articles. Okay, so we will be starting with the GS quote as we do in every class. So today we will be taking the quote by the C.S. Lewis. C.S. Lewis says that the integrity is doing the right thing even when the no one is watching. So integrity, he had said, that is not dependent whether the people will appreciate you. Okay, integrity is just like following your dharma. You have to do it because it is your dharma. So doing it even when nobody is watching, it is integrity. So this particular quote directly you can use in GS paper number 4, that is the foundational values. GS paper number 4, foundational values. Now taking up the first article. Okay, so here guys, we have clubbed the two articles. One is taken from the editorial section, other is taken from the text and the context section, and both are talking about the abortions issue. Now guys, this particular year the abortion becomes an important issue, and a question could be expected on this particular line. First of all, I will tell you the context of this particular article, then I will explain that where this particular article is going to be important. Now understand this particular thing. Context goes like this, that recently the USA's Supreme Court had given a kind of a landmark and a kind of a ruling which overturns the abortion rights in the USA. What the US Supreme Court had said, US Supreme Court has actually turned back the Roe versus Wade judgment of 1973. Now in this Roe versus Wade judgment of 1973, Supreme Court had allowed the women that they can go for the abortion till the fetus is not viable outside the body. According to it, it means that till around 24 to 28 weeks, the abortion can be done by the women. It was a matter of their right. This thing was said in this 1973 Roe versus Wade judgment. Now what had happened, guys, actually now just 3-4 days back, okay, what had happened just 3-4 days back, this judgment has been reversed, and now it has been said that the women don't have fundamental right for the abortion. If any of the state within the USA wants to control abortion, wants to regulate the abortion, they can do that thing, fine. Absolute fundamental right on abortion is not there, fine. So this was something that has happened. Now guys, this particular thing has opened up a debate, a moral debate has opened up. There are the advocacy groups which says that this is unethical. Why this is unethical? Because at the end of the day, it is the women who had conceived a child, and as a part of her reproductive rights, as a part of her bodily autonomy, she should be given an absolute choice that whether she wants to carry that pregnancy or not. If she doesn't want, then the abortion should be allowed. You should not basically enforce this particular thing. So this is the issue that is going on now, guys. In this particular context, what is the abortion laws in India, we are going to discuss in this particular article. So guys, when we talk about the abortion in India, first of all, the abortions, they have been mentioned in the section 312 as well as section 313 of the IPC. Clear? Now what section 312 and 313 of IPC talks about? Basically it talks about two things. Number one, if a person is inducing a woman to go for miscarriage, to go for abortion, fine, then that particular person could be punished. Second, if a person is deliberately carrying the miscarriage of a woman without the consent of that particular woman, then again the person can be punished. So if a person is inducing a woman for miscarriage, okay, or if a person is forcefully asking the woman to go for miscarriage, the person will be punished. This is provided in 312 and 313 section of IPC. Then now guys, what happened? The time was of 1960s. Okay, so basically this was the time when in India large number of abortions were increasing, and at that point of a time government felt that we need much more comprehensive laws to deal with the abortion. Only just two of these IPC provisions are not going to be sufficient to deal with the complexity of abortion. So in 1960s, what happened? Government constituted the Shanti Lal Shah Committee. Now this Shanti Lal Shah Committee recommended that we need to come out with a specific law, and on the basis of the recommendations in 1971, the Medical Termination of Pregnancy MTP Act was passed in 1971. Now guys, this particular 1971 Act, what it provided, I will tell you first of all its provisions. By the way, now what had happened, we have carried an amendment into the MTP, and as of today, the 1971 MTP has been replaced by the MTP Act of 2021. So the first was 1971, and now in 2021, the amendment has come. So first of all, let's understand what are the provisions of this Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act. So here there is a table. In this particular table, you can see the comparison of both. Number one, the 1971 MTP Act only applied to the married women. MTP Act of 2021 is modern, and it has recognized the fact that sometimes the unmarried women, they also they also became pregnant. So the unmarried women, married women, both have been covered into the 2021 MTP Act. Now guys, earlier basically this MTP Act of 1971 covered the pregnancies up till 20 weeks. Okay. Now what was the scenario? The scenario was this, that up till 20 weeks the abortion can be carried by a woman. If the pregnancy is from 0 to 12 weeks, then on the opinion by one registered medical practitioner. So RMP stands for registered medical practitioners. In total, till 20 week the abortion can be done by the women, but if it is till 12 week, you need the suggestion of or the opinion of one registered medical practitioner. However, if it is from 12 to 20 week, then the two registered medical practitioners, they have to give an advice, and then the women can abort the child. Now what has happened into the MTP Act of 2021? It has increased this limit of 20 weeks to 24 weeks. Fine. Number one is that it has increased this limit to 24 weeks. Now guys, beyond the 24 weeks also it is allowed. We'll see this particular thing laterwards. Now let's understand that if pregnancy is to be aborted till 20 weeks, then one registered medical practitioner needs to give the advice. However, if the pregnancy is to be aborted between 20 to 24 weeks, fine, this is then enhanced period, then the opinion of the two registered medical practitioners is to be taken. However, I also told you that if a pregnancy is to be aborted beyond the 24 weeks, then also it is allowed, and in that particular capacity, in every state there needs to be the state medical board, which will have 4 members. State medical board, if only the state medical board will allow, then beyond the 24 week the pregnancy will be can be aborted. Now guys, understand this particular thing, that see, first of all, into the MTP Act that we have now, the MTP 2021 that we have now, abortion cannot be done. For basically, abortion is not allowed as a matter of choice. You need to understand, abortion is allowed only in specific conditions that are there. Is it clear? What are the specific conditions? Clear, guys. The conditions are of two types. Condition number A, fine, if carrying an abortion will create some risk to the women's life, if carrying see, if you continue the pregnancy, if there is a risk to the life of the women, the abortion can be carried. Secondly, if the pregnancy is because of a rape, it is because of a rape, it is because of the sexual assault, fine. C, if the women basically if the marital status of the women has been changed during the pregnancy. Clear? For example, when she got pregnant, she was married. During the pregnancy, she got widowed, she got divorced, fine. So if the marital status has been changed, the women can abort. If the pregnancy is outcome of a rape, some kind of a sexual assault, if the life of the women will be threatened. And one more condition is there, that the child that is going to be born, if the child will suffer with some abnormalities, if the child might not survive after the birth, okay, in all these conditions only the abortion is to be allowed. Clear? Now understand this particular thing, guys. Fine. If you will read the gazette of the MTP 2021 Act, there are a lot of technical details that have been provided, this, that, this, that ground, that much complicated legal terminology, legal language you don't need to have for your UPSC. Just these are the major grounds. Fine. This is the condition in which it will be allowed. Okay. Now, guys, moving on. When we talk about the abortion in India, clear what I said? I said that the abortion is not simply your matter of choice. Clear? Only the conditions, if these conditions are there, the abortion will be allowed. But now this particular thing, number was one, goes against the Supreme Court judgment of 2017. So in 2017, the Supreme Court came with the Puttaswamy judgment. In this Puttaswamy judgment, Supreme Court very clearly provided that the decision by a pregnant person that whether to continue the pregnancy or not to continue a pregnancy is a part of that person's right to privacy given under Article number 21 of the Indian Constitution. It is the right to privacy. So why only these conditions are being made as a ground for abortion? Just simply, if a person doesn't want to carry the abortion, the person should be allowed. This particular thing has not been there, and actually it is a criticism also of our MTP 2021 Act, that you should have been given an absolute choice, that if any woman wants to abort, then she could do that particular thing. Now, guys, after that, the next problem that comes here, I told you that beyond 24 weeks, if the pregnancy is to be aborted, then you can go to the state medical board. But often these state medical boards are either not constituted, they take a lot of time, or they reject the petition. So what happens? A large number of women are actually reaching to the High Court, they are reaching to the Supreme Court if the pregnancy has crossed the 24 weeks time. And guys, in this particular capacity, the High Courts are giving judgment. Even we have seen few days back that a judgment was given by a Delhi High Court, where a woman who had reached 28 weeks pregnancy, she was allowed to go for that particular thing. So basically the provision of state medical boards, okay, it is basically not very smooth. Fine. Sometimes it is not constituted, sometimes there is a lot of red tape and all such kind of things. Now, guys, further talking about the abortions. So basically, according to the Lancet report, now the Lancet is a very reputed health journal. So according to a Lancet report, it is said that as of 2015, nearly 15.6 million abortions were being accessed in India. MTP Act very clearly provided that the abortion needs to be carried only by the trained doctor, gynecologist, obstetrics, fine, or a surgeon. Ministry of Health and Family Welfare at the same time says that actually into the rural areas there is a 70% shortage of gynecologists, trained medical practitioners, 70% shortage. MTP Act says that only these trained people will carry pregnancies, but 70% shortage into the rural areas. Even into the urban areas there is a shortage. What is happening? The people, the women, they are going for unsafe, illegal abortions. Fine, and every year more than 8 lakh illegal abortions are carried, which leads to maternal mortality, which leads to grave threats onto the life of the women. Sometimes women, they become pregnant, but they don't want to carry the pregnancy. Why? Because of career. Sometimes they are because of career, sometimes because of many other kind of commitments are there. But MTP has made abortion conditional. Fine, in that thing women are going for illegal abortions even. So this is something that is the entire scenario with respect to the abortion. Now guys, this particular thing, this entire thing is going to be important in GS paper number 4 ethics, GS paper number 4 applied ethics topic number 1, as well as GS paper number 2 women related issues. It is going to be important. So that is all guys about it, and we'll move to the next article. Okay, right to bodily autonomy versus right to life. Is this the case of double effect dilemma? See, basically, Shahid, double effect doctrine, what you are talking about, it is little bit different. Doctrine of double effect provides this thing that whenever an action is going to be done, it will have both the consequences. It will have a negative consequences, it will going to be have positive consequences. Then there are the three conditions that have been given. If they are met, we'll say that the action is ethical. Fine. So basically what you are saying, it is a little bit different from the concept that you have mentioned just in the comment. Okay, I hope that you got this particular thing. Now moving to the next article. So this article guys have been taken from the text and the context section, and it talks about the India's new VPN rules that have been just been amended. So first of all, this particular article is will be important for our GS paper number 3, GS paper number 3, that is the issues or the issues having an effect onto the Indian economy. How it is going to impact Indian economy, I'll tell you just in a minute. Second, GS paper number 3 again, cyber technologies and their regulation. Cyber technologies and their regulation. Fine. Now let's discuss this particular article. But before guys going in that, what is a VPN? What is a VPN? Let's understand this particular thing, because if you don't know the VPN, then guys this article might not make a lot of sense. Moreover, in general also with respect to your basic science and technology awareness, you should know what is a VPN. So guys, VPN stands for virtual private network. Now guys, what usually happens? Usually what happens is that, suppose this is you. Okay, I hope that it is clear. This is you. Now you are scrolling or you are surfing something on your mobile phone. What happens? You, let's say, go on a website. Okay, now as you have, for example, you go to a Google. On Google you type the name of a particular website, for example www.facebook.com. Now what will happen? You have asked the access of this particular website, so your information have to flow to through the internet modem to your internet service provider. Okay, internet service provider, after receiving your request that I want to go to Facebook, then the information will be transmitted to your device. So what happens? Whenever we are surfing the internet, our information is going to the server, and the server in turn is giving us the information. Now suppose you want to check your account balance, and what do? You go to the web internet and you just open your banking website. Fine. Now again you will input your username, password and all such kind of a thing. This information will flow to the internet service provider, and then you will be given back the result. Now guys, when this particular information is flowing, it could be hacked. Fine. Particularly when you are using the Wi-Fi at public areas, you are using Wi-Fi at a coffee shop, at an airport, railway station. So the information that is flowing, it could be hacked. What information is there? There is your IP address. There is your IP address which tells the location of a device. There is your other personal information, credentials that are there. So this particular data could be hacked, and then cyber crimes can be done. Now guys, what is the VPN? So basically what VPN does, if you access the internet through the VPN, VPN will create a private tunnel. VPN will create a private tunnel, and all your data will flow through this private tunnel. What happens? Your data will not just travel in a plain format, rather your data will be encrypted, and that encrypted data will flow through this VPN tunnel. Okay, even if anybody gets that particular information, the person will not be able to make sense of that particular information. So your identity is masked, your identity is hidden, your data is encrypted through this VPN travel and VPN tunnel, and you get a private access. Moreover guys, your IP address is also masked, and even basically your location could also be masked. Fine. Now guys, for example, you see that there are certain restrictions onto the internet in India. Certain restrictions are with respect to the content is there. Fine. So your location could also be masked. Fine. from a US server's location, from the UK's server location, or from server located in some another country also, you can access the internet. So the hidden content, etc., could also be seen. Fine, this is VPN. Now guys, when we talk about the VPN, as of now, most of the VPNs, they don't store your any data, because then what will be the logic of the VPN? Your data is not stored. Fine, it will just be immediately deleted. But government now wants to change this particular policy. So what happened recently, the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, MeitY, they had provided that the virtual private network providers in India, VPN service providers, they need to keep the record of the customers logs, means which website they visited, what type of information they required. So they need to keep the customers logs for 180 days, and in some cases they need to store the customer information up to 5 years, clear. And they have also said that if there is any cyber breach that have happened, and if these VPN service providers, they come to know about it, they need to report these cyber crimes to the CERT-in, that is the Computer Emergency Response Team India. Fine, within 6 hours. Okay, this is fine, this is good. But storing the customers logs for 6 months to 5 years, this is something that is problematic. Why it is problematic? Number one, it will violate the privacy of the individuals. Today many of the people are using the VPN because number one, they get a secured access. Number two, they know that there will be no record of their logs that will be there, they feel secure. But if now the records are to be kept, government can use that particular information, sometimes for political purpose, for sometimes for some other purposes. It will discourage the VPN users. Moreover guys, the next thing that has been happened is that that MeitY had very clearly provided, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology has very clearly provided that these rules are to be followed by any entity whatsoever. It means that even if there is no physical presence in India of a VPN service provider, then also they have to follow this particular thing. Now guys, understand that this particular thing is going to be problematic because number one, as they have to store the data for up to 5 years, okay, it will increase the cost, or it will increase the costing, the compliance burden onto these particular companies. Clear? Now understand this particular thing. Today basically India is having the strong IT sector growth prospects in the country. Fine. Now these kind of laws, these kind of rules will going to impact this particular sector as well. It has been provided guys that secondly, 254.9 million accounts have been breached since 2004. Okay, and it very clearly provides that people should use the VPN. Okay, but guys, if the information will be stored, then again that information could be again hacked from that particular pool as well. So it makes the system little bit irrelevant. Okay, so this is the issue that has come. I hope that you have understood that entire issue along with the VPN. Now we'll move to the next article. Now this particular article we have taken from the editorial section, bringing MSME into the global value chain. This particular article is going to be important in GS paper number 3, that is the role of MSME in the Indian economy. Role of MSME in the Indian economy. Okay, now before going in this particular article guys, this article is excellent article, very good article. Fine, if you read this article very carefully, and please download this PDF, all the fact data with respect to MSMEs you'll get at one place. Now moving on. So first of all, what is the context? The context goes like this, that today on 27th June we are observing the World Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Day, MSME Day. Now the MSME Day, it is observed to appreciate the contribution of MSMEs in the job creation, the economic contribution of MSMEs. MSMEs have been said that they are the backbone of Indian economy. So for this particular thing, June 27 is observed as the World MSME Day. Now first of all, when we talk about the MSME Day, it has been designated by the United Nations General Assembly United Nations General Assembly. Why? To raise awareness in the people about the marvelous, tremendous contribution of the MSME sectors. Sometimes, or most of the times, we don't understand their potential. So this article will throw a lot of light on that thing. Today, if we talk, MSMEs, they account for 90% of the businesses, not in the India, in the entire world. They basically generate 60 to 70% of employment, as well as 50% of the world GDP. So 50% of world's GDP, 90% of businesses are MSMEs, 50% of GDP is coming from MSMEs, 60 to 70% employment is into the MSMEs. Fine, and in that particular capacity, they had given a lot of economic support to women, working people, women, poor people, vulnerable people. Now, when we talk about the MSMEs in the context of India specifically, so guys, basically the MSMEs, they have been defined in the MSME Act of 2006. Okay. Recently, the MSME's definition has also been changed. We'll see that particular thing. Now, first of all, when we talk about MSMEs, there could be two type of MSMEs. Fine, manufacturing MSMEs. Okay, MSMEs, guys, I hope you are clear. It stands for micro, small, and medium enterprises. Manufacturing, which are making or manufacturing some goods. Service enterprises are there. Now, what is the MSME classification as of now? How you will say that whether a unit is a micro enterprise or a small enterprise or a medium enterprise? What is the definition? So, definition has recently been changed in the 2022 as of today. So, basically, it has been said that a unit will be called as an MSME, and the grounds will be two. Either you will see investment that have been made into that particular company, or you can see the turnover that particular organization is generating. Investment means the investment done into the plant, machinery, etc. For example, tomorrow I open a kind of an establishment where I had kept some of the machine. Okay, let's say I'm making some chairs. So for the chairs, I have kept some machine. So the value of that machinery, it is investment. And a turnover. Turnover means that a total cash flow that is running in that business. So if investment is less than 1 crore rupees, or if the turnover is less than 5 crore rupees, then that particular enterprise will be called as micro enterprise. Both manufacturing and service sector, now the same conditions are there. Earlier they were different. For manufacturing it was different, for service it was different, but now it is simple. Both the same conditions are there. Then if investment is less than 10 crore rupees, or if turnover is up till 50 crore rupees, then the enterprise will be the small enterprise. Medium, if investment is up to 50 crore rupees and the turnover is up to 250 crore rupees, then the enterprise will be called as the medium enterprise. So this is the definition of the micro, small, and medium enterprise number one. Then guys, what is the prevalence of MSMEs in India? So MSMEs today account for 99% of businesses. So 99% of businesses are coming in these three categories. Today, the MSMEs are the largest employer in India outside the agriculture. Fine, number one is agriculture, but after agriculture, the MSME is the largest employer. Today, in terms of number, we have more than 6.3 crore MSMEs, which are employing more than 11 crore people. 45% of India's worker, they are actually involved in the MSME sector. Guys, every point is very, very relevant. Please be very careful. Okay. Then moving on, after that guys, here we have the second page of this particular article. Don't get confused if you are reading it from PDF. Now, this particular sector contributes in economy in such a way that today 6.11% of manufacturing GDP of India. Okay, so see, our GDP comes from service sector, it comes from agriculture sector, it comes from manufacturing sector. So from manufacturing sector, the 6.11% of India's GDP, it is coming from MSMEs. Then when we talk about the service sector, 24.63% of service GDP that comes, it is actually coming from the MSME sector. But there have been the challenges that the MSME is facing right now. Now the challenges comes from particular reasons. For example, number one was the pandemic. So as the pandemic came, lockdown got imposed, many of the MSMEs, for them work from home, switching to the online was not possible. Fine, these MSMEs got impacted. Fine, their supply chain got impacted. The raw material they are getting from that, it got impacted. Okay, basically many of the MSMEs, they play on credit. Fine, they have taken credit and they also have given the credit to other people. This entire credit chain also got disrupted. Fine, so basically the MSMEs, they have faced challenges because of the pandemic, because of the climate crisis and all such kind of things. Now it has been said that when we talk about the India, Today India is at a unique point. India is having the situation of demographic dividend. What demographic dividend is all about? See, today we have a lot of young population, and as this young population can work, as this young population can contribute in economic activity, we will attain a kind of a dividend, fine, a benefit. So this is a demographic dividend. The dividend, the benefit that a country will achieve because of suitable working population. So we have a lot of demographic dividend, and this particular thing provides that we need to find employment for these people also. MSMEs can generate employment. So actually we need to leverage the MSME sector. They can leverage our demographic dividend. Now today I told when I talk about the MSME sector, guys, there is a lot of informality in the MSME sector. Technically, if a person has opened up a tailor shop, he is working there along with 2 3 other people. Eh, technically he is coming into the definition of a micro enterprise, and today there are so many of these kind of a micro enterprises that are there. Now this particular sector is informal. Informal means that there are no written agreements, there are no written conditions on which the work will be done here. Because of this particular thing, the workers who are working into these MSME sector, they don't have social security. Is it clear or not? Fine, this is one thing that is there. Then second problem is that because these enterprises are informal, fine, they cannot go and access the formal MSME support. Government is coming out with the credit facilities for MSMEs, a lot of subsidies are given, but for that you need to be registered. That thing is not there. Then the next problem that is coming is that, guys, this government has taken much of, not the problem, rather I'll say that the government has actually taken many of the steps. For example, government had first of all called that the MSMEs are the key of making the India Atmanirbhar, of making India self-reliant. The MSMEs are the key for the Atmanirbharta, rightfully said. Government is also helping the MSME sector. For example, for supporting the manufacturing sector, we have come with the Make in India campaign. In the Make in India campaign, a lot of support is being provided. Recently, government has also come out with other schemes. For example, the PLI scheme, production linked incentive scheme. What is this PLI scheme? So guys, the simple idea of the PLI scheme is something like this, that if a person is making the incremental sales, then 2 to 5% will be provided to them as an incentive. What it means? For example, there was a company MSME by the name of XYZ Corporation. In the previous year, it has made the sale of 100 crore rupees. Now this particular year, it has made the sale of, let's say, 150 crore rupees. So what is an incremental sale? Incremental sale is of 50 crore rupees. Now on this 50 crore rupees, financial incentives into the range of 2 to 5% will be given. This is huge. There are many of the sectors that have been identified under the PLIs. Is it clear? So through the PLI, the manufacturing sector is, the MSMEs, they are being given a boost. After that, zero effect and zero defect certification. So the MSMEs can go and they can have this certification. It means that zero effect on environment. Okay, means environmentally responsible products. Zero defect means that high quality products. So the MSMEs can avail this zero effect, zero defect certification, and that makes MSME's product a little bit more superior, more preferable. Now in order to support MSMEs, the United Nations system is also supporting the MSMEs. For example, there are specific organizations within the UNIDO, that is the United Nations Industrial Development Organization. Then there is ILO. Then there is United Nations Development Program. UN Women is there, which specifically support the MSMEs driven by women. IFAD. Okay, all they are helping the MSME sectors. Today, guys, actually, in order to help MSME sector, there are certain trends that you need to identify, and you need to make sure that MSMEs are coping up with those particular trends. What are the trends today that are prevalent? Digitization, greening, reorganization of value chains. Okay, these are certain trends that are prevalent and they are to be adopted by the MSMEs. First of all, the digitization trend that is becoming prevalent. Digitization, it means that integration of digital technologies, integrating the data. Fine, the basically digitization means that basically big data, artificial intelligence, virtual reality, all these things are to be integrated into the business processes. Okay, the manual or the old ways of working will now not be relevant. Now for the digital adoption, MSMEs, they need to integrate with the IT, information technology, computers. Okay, for this particular thing, we need to train the MSMEs. So this is number one thing for which we need to help the MSMEs. Second thing is greening. Greening means that MSME's environmental impact, environmental footprint needs to be reduced. It says that the MSMEs needs to become more efficient in terms of in terms of um, in terms of carbon emissions, in terms of usage of power and all such kind of things. If today we want to become circular economy, low carbon economy, fine, they needs to be more efficient. Okay, now this particular thing can be done by the Bureau of Energy Efficiency. It can provide the efficient apparatus, can teach the practices to the MSMEs as how they can become energy efficient. Then resilience of supply for the MSMEs need to be there. Now guys, I told you know this, suppose there is an MSME, it is manufacturing some product. Obviously it depends on some back end channels to supply the raw material. If the supply chain will get disrupted, raw material will not come, finished good cannot be prepared, people they are needed to be removed from jobs and all such problems is there. So the supply chain needs to be made more robust, more resilient. It should not go in shocks in very less of intervals. So this is something that needs to be focused upon. Guys, at the same time, article also says that rather than all these particular things, the most important thing is that you need to fully recognize the role of the MSMEs in India, the support that it gives to the different sectors and all these kind of things. Fine, through the different institutions, through different programs, we need to help the MSMEs. Prime Minister's employment generation program was there, which created employment opportunities. Okay, and the people they got placed into the micro enterprises. So even in employment generation, the MSMEs play a very important role. Now guys, recently the ILO, that is International Labour Organization, and FICCI, they are supporting the MSMEs in creating and retaining the jobs. Many MSMEs got impacted, so they are being supported by the ILO and FICCI. This is also something that you can say. So finally this article says that actually in order to unlock the entire potential of India, MSMEs they are to be roped, they are to be leveraged. So that is all about this, and now we'll move to the next article. Okay, sir, I use this editorial for my English improvement because the way of communication is good. Okay, thank you, dear. Glad you liked it. Now, this article, rewriting old history for a new India. Okay, so guys, this article, it is just talking about the recent attempts that the government is making to change the historical facts, to change the history books. So this article is saying that this is nothing but a new way of narrative building, new way of propaganda, and this is an attempt of this government to create new India as they have talked that they are doing it. So first of all, you did not need to go too much in detail in this particular article because little bit of political inclination is there, and such kind of things are usually not that much relevant for our exam. So basically guys, what had happened, it has been said that into the present times, because of the learning loss that have happened. What is the learning loss? Learning loss means that students they were not able to go to school closures were there, digital education was not understandable, sometimes it is not accessible. So learning loss, learning gap has come. Government should focus on the reducing this learning gap. Rather, what government is focused on revising the history books. Okay, now guys, why first of all the revision into the history books is happening? It is because of the Parliamentary Standing Committee's report. So Parliamentary Standing Committee on Education, Women, Children, Youth had submitted its report. The name of the report is Report on the Reform in Content and Design of the School Textbook 2021 report. Now on this particular report, the NCRT has been given the instruction that you should revise the curriculum, and the curriculum is getting revised. Now guys, it has been said that for example, many of such critical information that was there into the history, it is being removed. For example, the contribution of Akbar in socio-economic life of India. Okay, what were the normal practices into the Akbar courts which actually impacted the culture of India even till today. So these things are being removed, and it is said that it is going to impact the critical thinking. Okay, just the facts and the dates and the stats is not the concern of history. So this is something that has been provided. However guys, with respect to the exam, you don't need to go too much into the detail because you know this is a political issue that has now become. Fine, so beyond that I will not advise you. However, the editorial has been given. If you want, you can read it separately if you want. Now moving on to the next one. So, fine, so only this information is something that you should see. Beyond that, nothing is much important. Again, I am saying because it has become a political issue. Fine, be smart while identifying the articles. Now this article is good one. How Hanoi and New Delhi are fortifying the defense ties. So this particular article is going to be important with respect to the GS paper number 2. GS 2, within the GS paper number 2, the international relations, neighborhood relations. Let's see this article. So guys, recently what has happened, the recently India as well as Vietnam, they have signed the joint vision statement on India-Vietnam defense partnership towards 2030. So recently, India's defense minister visited the Vietnam, and there this joint vision statement between the India-Vietnam defense partnership has been signed. Now, guys, what is the purpose of this particular joint vision statement? The purpose is to boost the scope and the scale of existing defense cooperation between the India and Vietnam. They said that by 2030 there will be more defense ties, more defense cooperation, more areas where they are going to collaborate. Moreover, guys, you see this particular thing, India follows the look east, act east policy, and secondly India follows the neighborhood first policy. So as per the act east policy, India will outreach to our eastern partners, and as per neighborhood first policies, India will help our small neighbors. And the reflection of this thing could be seen in this third point. What has happened, India has also agreed to provide a $500 million defense line of credit which could be used by the Vietnam to import the weaponries from India. So this is the role of responsible neighbor that India is following. Moreover, guys, India will also be implementing the projects in the Vietnam which will promote the make in India and make for the world. Okay, so guys, India doesn't just wants to make in India, but it wants to make for world. It wants to establish its manufacturing units outside of the India also. Okay, and such units will be established in Vietnam. Now further it has been said that, guys, India and Vietnam over the last few years they have cooperated a lot on the maritime domain. On maritime domain, both are converging. Fine, Indo-Pacific is the word that Vietnam has recently used. It also recognizes the India's importance, India's centrality into the Indian and the Pacific Ocean. Now guys, both want that the Indo-Pacific Ocean needs to be the free passage. It needs to be the region of free trade. But here there is one problem that both the countries have in common. What is the problem? Problem is of China. Now the China have many times tried to do certain wrong things. For example, there is South China Sea. In South China Sea, a lot of sea has been claimed by China. Now into the South China Sea, the Vietnam has also interest, but the China is not allowing that interest of Vietnam to prevail. So on to the China, Vietnam is frustrated. Even India is frustrated with respect to the China because of the China's intrusion in LAC and many other things. So the China has become a common enemy, and this has enhanced the geostrategic engagement of the India as well as Vietnam also. Now guys, when we talk about the defense partnership between the India and Vietnam, it is not only which has increased in 2022, rather since 2000 when the defense protocol was signed. Since then, basically large number of engagements we are doing with Vietnam. Fine, navy to navy cooperation is there, intelligence exchange is there, logistical support we have. Fine, then we are fulfilling the Vietnam's defense requirement. We are exporting a lot of weaponaries to the Vietnam. Okay, naval facilities such as the Nha Trang naval facilities have been developed. Defense dialogues, fine, high level visits, meets, fine, dialogues are happening between the India Vietnam. So since 2000 actually the India and Vietnam's cooperation on the defense has been enhanced. Moreover, guys, recently there is one more incident that happened. What was the incident? I'll tell you. So we have ONGC Videsh Limited, okay, Oil and Natural Gas Corporation of India. Its foreign subsidiary is ONGC Videsh. It carries the oil exploration projects into the other countries. Now guys, ONGC, it was exploring the oil block into the Vietnam's EEZ, that is the exclusive economic zone. Now guys, I told you that a lot of area into the South China Sea, a lot of area around the Vietnam maritime area is actually claimed by China. So though we were doing the exploration into the Vietnam's EEZ, China has a problem with that. China said that no, it is a disputed area. ONGC Videsh Limited should not explore the oil from here. But we said that no, we'll explore it, will continue with that. So in a way, what we have done, we have given side to Vietnam. This thing has further enhanced the India and Vietnam relations. Now this article actually has used a very beautiful line, rather I'll say this last line, it had said that the China factor has provided the impetus to the solidification of ties, but still much more is to be done. So today on the China, many countries are converging, many countries are able to cooperate, but only China factor is not going to help. There needs to be other convergences, other cooperations also. So that is all guys, that is there in this particular article. I hope you understood it. And now we'll move to the next article. Okay, this particular article guys reads from July 1, Himachal to buy back single-use plastics. Very good article. Can be used as an example in GS paper number 3, environment. GS paper number 3, environment. In GS paper number 4 also, the ethics of environment. Environmental ethics. Environmental ethics. This particular example could be used as a case study. Environmental ethics. Now let's understand this particular thing guys. Before that, little bit background I will tell you so that you can understand this particular article. So basically in 2021 India has passed the plastic waste management rules. Plastic waste management rules. Now under these plastic waste management rules, India's purpose is to simply outphase the single-use plastics. Now what are the single-use plastics? Single-use plastics are specific only for one purpose. For example, on a cigarette pack there is a plastic wrap that is there. Okay, now this plastic wrap will not be used for some any other purpose. It is a single-use plastic. For example, you take a straw, you use that particular straw, okay, and then you throw that straw. Fine, that straw obviously will not be used by somebody else. It is a single-use plastic. So guys, by 2022, fine, we want to phase out the single-use plastic. This change was brought into the 2021 plastic waste management rule. We have taken a timeline of 2022 that will do that thing. Now the Himachal Pradesh, fine, it has taken one step forward in this particular direction, which is a very good. Now the center actually is banning the single-use plastic by the July 1, 2022, but Himachal Pradesh have said that they will buy back the single-use plastics from the school students, college students, and they will give them the money. Now this particular thing will help on two fronts. Number one, what will happen? The students, they will become the waste collectors. They will they will collect the single-use plastics, give them to the schools. Okay, the students will get the financial incentive. Secondly, it will also instill the environmental knowledge. It will sensitize them in environmental conservation. So the idea is to catch them when they are young. Okay, so to teach certain values to a child, to teach certain values to a youth is very very easy. Okay, and now that value inculcation is being done by asking them to recollect and give the single-use plastics back where, and they will be given some money in that particular thing. Now the Himachal Pradesh, it has developed more than 3,000 eco clubs, as well as they have also in the colleges raised the National Green Corps program. Okay, so these National Green Corps, the eco clubs, the students will go, will collect plastic and will give it back to the schools, and they will be paid some money. Now it has been said that what these schools and these institutions are going to do, they will hand over these plastics to the public work department, and they will use these plastics for the bitumen construction. The roads will be constructed out of these plastics. So it is a win-win situation on all the fronts. Students are being sensitized, they are being given financial incentive, plastic is being used for the road construction. Fine, single-use plastics will be phased. Fine, it will be used for more productive purposes, and this will help us in realizing the waste to wealth dream. Waste to wealth. So plastic, which was a waste, has been converted into a infrastructural wealth. Very good case study. Please use it. Very very good. Now we'll move to the next article. Now it is a Supreme Court's judgment or Supreme Court's observation. It says that the inaction does not imply conspiracy. We'll use it in GS paper number 2. Now what is this entire thing? I'll tell you. See, basically guys, in the past few days, what has happened, many allegations have been made on the government that there is a bigger conspiracy that is going on. For example, when the second wave of COVID-19 pandemic came, it was said that it is a bigger conspiracy. Fine, deliberately the cases have been increased so that the vaccine makers, they can be given some benefit. Recently the violence happened, okay, on certain of the occasions. It was said that it is a bigger conspiracy. Okay, so many times there is said that there is a larger conspiracy which is at play. Now the Supreme Court had said that many times the state administration might break down. Many times there will be a situation that the law and order might go out of hand. it cannot be always called as a larger conspiracy. It is not a larger conspiracy. Sometimes it can happen because the administration has been overwhelmed. Spontaneous mass violence, fine, some unplanned things cannot be called as a larger conspiracy. It has been said that a larger conspiracy will only be there when there is a clear evidence to show that something has happened. Okay, you cannot just assume. It has been said that the state administration can simply be overrun by enormity, sometimes by the suddenness, and that thing could be unknown phenomena. So this is something that the Supreme Court had said. Fine, just this concept. Okay, you can use it sometimes in order to justify our answers. For example, let's say you go in an interview, and in interview the board members are asking you a question that right now we see a communal clashes, communal riots that have happened. Is India going in a state of undemocracy? Okay, or sorry, I have used the wrong word. Is India going in a state where the democracy is on degradation, or the democracy is getting degenerated? Is this the case? Let's say the board is asking you the question. You can simply say that no sir, that is not the case. India's democracy is a young democracy, we are evolving. Sometimes there are certain instances which overwhelm the administration, and even then you justify that. Recently even the Supreme Court had said that sometimes the overwhelming of the administration could not be a conspiracy. It cannot be said that it is a degeneration of democracy. So these are the things that which help you while you are making your arguments. Even in your mains answer also, these things helps us in justifying your argument. So that is all just which has come in this particular article, and now we'll move to the next. Now, G7 proposes $600 billion global infrastructure plan to rival China. So guys, 26 and 27 June, there is the G7 meet that is being held in the Germany. It is hosted by the Germany, and even the Prime Minister of India has visited the G7. Now today is 27th. Today will also there will be certain things that will come in G7. So actually into the tomorrow's news we'll see that what are the total takeaways from the G7. Okay, so I hope that you understood tomorrow, because today it will get concluded. Then in tomorrow we'll see this thing. Now out of this G7 negotiations, there is one particular thing that has come, is that G7 members, they have said that right now the China is running its Belt and Road Initiative, where China is providing a lot of funding to the poor underdeveloped countries. China is given them a debt. This is also called as the debt trap diplomacy of China. Now it is said that in order to counter the Belt and Road Initiative of China, these G7 countries, they have also said that we will contribute $600 billion for the global infrastructure project into the poor countries. Is it clear? $600 billion this group will also going to give. Now this particular initiative has been called as the Partnership for Global Infrastructure and Investment. Is it clear or not? This is something that has happened. So just this development. However, today it will get concluded. So tomorrow we'll see all the key takeaways from this entire instance. So that is all guys about the today's newspaper analysis. I hope that you have understood it. And guys, if you have liked, please do leave a like. Please do leave a comment as a token of appreciation if you have really liked that video, because it really means a lot for our initiative. Fine, so that is all for today. I hope that was fruitful. Now we'll meet tomorrow. Till then, please take care of yourselves. Thank you so much.